Madam is under attack, Babyface gets arrested, and I guess we should go ahead and pay our respects to the dearly departed judge. Let's give her a moment of silence, y'all. Well, we're talking All the Queen's Men, episode 18, The Sit Down. Let's get into it. Okay, y'all, so you already know this episode starts right where the last one left off, and that's with your girl, Madam, just getting hit by a drive-by, y'all. She's come out, and she's, said that infamous line about, there will be blood, and you already know that Madam has definitely clicked, and she is on one because she needs to know exactly who did this because she knows this was an attack on her. Now, she is going to notice that there is a cameraman over there along with a reporter, and they're reporting all of this. However, the police have not even showed up yet. It makes no sense at all. How did you get there first? How did you know this was going to go down? And Madam is always 2 steps ahead. She's always thinking ahead. So of course she goes over there and she puts on this Academy Award winning performance, y'all. Like when Madam wants to turn it on, she can turn it on. So she tells them that she'll do the interview with them, and she brings them into the club, and of course Tommy doesn't get it. He doesn't agree with it, but Tommy doesn't agree or get anything, y'all. Now, once they are back in the club, Madam is going to gather all her dancers together, and then she's going to give an even better performance by telling everybody, how much she loves them and how they mean the world to her, and that they don't have to tip out tonight, and she just wants them to be safe. Now, when I tell you I about spit out all my juice that I had in my mouth when she said all of this, I was like, Madam, now girl, now even you done took this one way too far, but I'm here for it. I love it. I mean, when Madam needs to turn it on, she definitely turns it on, y'all. So anyway, everybody's preparing to leave, and Big D is gonna go and talk to Amp, and Amp is just basically saying that he used to fight it, but now, it just is what it is, and he kind of sounds nonchalant and like he doesn't really want to be there. Now, we all know that Amp never really wanted to dance, and now that Amp is in his feelings about everything that went down, and now that he still has this thing with him and Dime and he's back to drinking, Amp is not exactly who he used to be. I mean, they've really taken this character and shifted him into this totally different person. So when Big D tells him like, hey, you act like you don't really want to be here, Amp is just like, look, you a grown man, make your own decisions about what you want to do. Now, everything was good until Big D mentioned Dime, and that's when Amp, whole attitude changed towards him, and he just kind of walks away. And then Doc lets Big D know, like, look, don't even mention her, especially not to him. Like, she is completely off limits. But you already know Big D ain't finna listen to this. I could see it in his eyes that he wasn't gonna listen, y'all. So anywho, y'all, Babyface is going to say something about El Fuego being off, and then Detective Davis is gonna end up coming into the club, and she's gonna try to shut Madam's club down. And I'm just like, girl, that is a super no-no. This is not finna fly. And Madam has to remind her that the incident occurred outside, not inside, and that her lawyer is right over there, and she can go and speak with him, or that they will fill her in once it actually gets to her pay grade. And I was like, damn, Madam, I mean, just put her in her place then. So anyway, y'all, sometimes I kind of feel bad for Detective Davis because Madam is always calling her out, like Madam is always disrespecting her in the most god-awful ways, and she can't do anything. I'm just like, come on, Detective Davis, just pick your face up and walk away. Like, let it go. But anyway, y'all, Madam took me out when she decided that she wanted to get a guillotine. I can't even say the word right because, y'all, I've been calling this a gauntlet for I don't know how long. I don't know where I got gauntlet from. But anyway, it's a guillotine, and she wants to build one. And I'm just afraid that she's going to have your girl Lotus head on this guillotine, y'all. Either her or the concierge. I don't know which one. I feel like either one of them could go at this point. But, we're getting way too far ahead. So anyway, y'all, Trouble is going to go over and talk to Casanova. And of course, she's going to be irritating like she always does, always up in his business. But Trouble is actually reading him pretty well. Like, even though everybody else already knows what's going on with him, I'm talking about the main people, Trouble still is figuring out that something isn't right with him, that he didn't react the way that he should have reacted when all of this stuff went down. And she just calls him out on it. But, Casanova ain't trying to hear it, so he just goes. So I don't know. These two, they just be doing too much. So anyway, y'all, Madam is going to end up giving her interview, and then she's going to turn the tables on him. She's like, yeah, you thought you were interviewing me, But no, that's not really how this is going to go, because Madam peeped game from the beginning, y'all. She knew that something was off, and she always follows her instincts. And she finally gets dude to talk like, who sent you? How did you know this? Like, where'd you get this tip from? Like, why wouldn't you call the police and let them know that there was about to be a shootout or a drive-by or whatever the case was? Like, you had this information. Why did you do that first? Why are you here reporting the news? Like, what kind of person are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all questions that I think we're all wondering, because that made no sense at all. But you know how it is. So anyway, you know Madam, and you know Madam is going to get that information out of you by any means necessary. And so of course Madam gets the information out of him, and she finds out that he was tipped off by a Chamber of Commerce member whose wife wanted her business to be shut down, whose wife wanted that business to be gone. And we already know who this is. We know that Tandy's husband is on the board. And so of course Madam says, let's ride. And we're about to go right on back to Tandy's house. Y'all, I don't know how many times we done been to Tandy's house. At this point, Tandy should be tired of Madam coming to her house. Like, she should just move. I'm just saying. So anyway, y'all, back to Big D, because your boy likes playing with fire. I can see this now. Now, he sees that Dime is having some car trouble, and he's going to go over and try to help her with the car. Now, that's all well and good, but your boy is clearly flirting with Dime, and you can see this, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. Another situation that's about to go down at the club. But anyway, y'all, to be honest, the cuteness in this whole situation, it was actually pretty darn adorable, so I'm not even mad at it. So anyway, y'all, meanwhile, we're going to see that El Fuego is going to make it home, and the pastor, aka El Fuego's ex's daddy, comes looking for his daughter, and he can't seem to stand Fuego, y'all. You can see it all in him. Like, he came over there kind of accusatory, and Fuego is just like, she's not here, you know, and pretty much they have some words back and forth, but when it's all said and done, he ends up leaving, and Fuego goes in, and what Fuego is going to see is that his entire place is cleaned. It's like nothing ever happened. So Madam came through. So Doc and Midnight are hanging out, and Doc gets upset when Midnight tells him that he told Dime the same exact thing that Doc just said, that maybe Amp has always been like this. Maybe this is who he really is. And as my daughter so nicely put it, it feels like Doc is on some bros before hoes type of thing, and he just ain't feeling Midnight right now, and he just like, look, you gotta go, because what you did was wrong by talking to Dime. Now, we all know that Dime and Midnight have a connection because of that whole situation that happened with Red, and that Midnight has no interest in Dime whatsoever. But of course, Doc has no knowledge of this. I mean, Midnight can't help it if these females be telling him stuff. I'm just saying, y'all. Now, Madam and her crew are going to go over to Tandy's, and Madam is like, she tired of them effing with her. Madam says that Tandy is dumb because she doesn't even have the alarm on. She's sitting up in the house with the doors unlocked, no alarm on, and she's like, what, did she think I wasn't coming for her? And I'm like, girl, I think that's exactly what she thought. I think she thought that she was protected. And I'm just like, now, the great Maya Angelou told us, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. And how many times has Madam showed them exactly who she was? Come on, Tandy, you gonna get what you gonna get. You deserve this one. Now, y'all, you already know what Tandy was up in here doing, because Tandy just can't help herself. Her and this bondage and dominatrix thing and all this crazy stuff that her and her husband be doing, they just do too much. So anyway, Madam comes in there and she starts dropping bodies. When she asked Tandy a question and she asked her to repeat herself, y'all know Madam hate repeating herself. So boom, one guy gotta go. Then she asked Tandy again, and Tandy is like, look, it was Judge and Lotus. I mean, it wasn't me, it was them. All them. You know, she didn't even say that she was the one who came up with the idea of the drive-by. She was the one who came up with the idea that her husband could help them out and all of this stuff. I think that's the only thing that she copped to. She was like, I just let them know that my husband could help. He was on the board, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, dang, your friends really will just turn on you real quick. I mean, you was just buddy and wanting to do this all the time, wanting to have these lunches and trying to be besties. So anyway, y'all, when it's all said and done, there are two dead guys, and Tandy is left there to clean all this mess up. And Madam lets her know, hey, is this your mama? Do you love your mama? This is her address. And Tandy already know what time it is, so Tandy ain't gonna say nothing. She just gonna clean that mess up, clean those bodies up, and keep it pushing. And she tells Madam that she's gonna leave her alone, that she not gonna mess with her no more. And I'm like, girl, it took all of this for you not to mess with Madam no more. Like, I would have stopped messing with Madam a long time ago. So anyway, y'all, back to a lighter moment with Big D and Dime. Now, Dime realizes that her ride share is not going to come pick her up, and she asks Big D for a ride. And of course, he gives her a hard time about it. The banter between these two is just so freaking cute, y'all. I just love it. Let me know what y'all think about the cuteness of their interaction at this moment. So anyway, y'all, Madam is going to finally make it to the judge's house. Now, the judge is in the tub. She's enjoying what she thinks she has done. You know, she's sitting up there singing, you know, probably ready for old Harry to come in there and do what he do or whatnot. But instead, Madam pops up. Madam pops up and she has a conversation with the judge, and she only wants to know one thing. She wants to know, where the hell does Lotus live? Because at this point, Madam is full on and she is ready to go after Lotus. Now, the judge keeps trying to tell her that she don't want no smoke with Lotus. Her family is this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, girl, at this point, you better act like Tandy. You better try to save yourself, because Lotus ain't finna save you at this point, because Madam is right there and you know she is very in the moment. So why don't you just tell her what she needs to know? But instead, the judge keeps antagonizing Madam. Now, mind you guys, Madam is holding this radio that she's ready to drop in the water at any moment, but yet the judge keeps going. Now, finally, she decides to go ahead and give up the information, and she gives up the address, but she has to say one last thing to Madam, one last thing that just irks her, and Madam just lets go of the radio, and boom, the judge dies in a very shocking way. I mean, literally shocking. Madam is going to end up calling the concierge, and she's going to tell him, like, look, you were right, I was wrong. And she asked him to come over, and he knows something is up right then. He's just like, what are you up to? Because he already know that is not how she get down. So she's trying to get him over there so that she can send Blue and Tommy to do what she needs to do, and she does, and they are going to end up kidnapping Lotus, y'all. Now, I can't remember if I told y'all before, but Babyface is actually in the club because we found out that they have a warrant for his arrest for hitting Patty. And so, of course, Detective is waiting on him, and she's waiting on him to come out. So Madam told Blue to tell him to go out the back door. So he does as he's told, but you know, the detective is very patient apparently, and they're going to be out there waiting for him. And so Babyface is going to get arrested for hitting Patty, and she also thinks that he murdered her as well. So you already know that they're going to try to use any and everything, because at the end of the day, it's always about getting to Madam. So okay, y'all, that is what's up with All the Queen's Men, episode 18, The Sit Down. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode, because so much stuff went down. I mean, we lost our favorite judge after all, y'all, and Tandy has been silenced. Lotus has been kidnapped. I mean, what is next? What could possibly happen next, besides the fact that the concierge is going to be completely upset about this whole situation because he has this big business deal going down? I mean, these last two episodes I feel like are going to be explosive, y'all. So anyway, go ahead and get the conversation started down below. Meanwhile, if you like this video, make sure to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to your girl channel, and do not forget to turn on the notifications so that you do not miss out on any of my All the Queen's Men's video. Now, if you didn't get to check out my last video about Madam in episode 17 and all the shenanigans that went down before all of this stuff happened, then go ahead and check that out now. Until next time, guys, peace.